Hey everybody, I haven't did an upload in a while, but I wanted to do this um, to get something straight. First of all, I want to say I am not on YouTube looking for a husband, a man, a boyfriend, whatever. I'm not I'm not on here for attention. So please stop putting that scenario out there because you don't know me for real. If you did, people would tell you that I have a phobia. I don't like to be looked at. I wear long smocks, or sometimes I tie them around my waist because I don't want attention. So I'm asking that you don't judge me if you don't know me for real. I'm just going to leave that right there. And for my true supporters, the ones that have been with me from day one, I just want to say it's all love. And since people want to make up their own scenarios, I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about me and why I stand so hard on some of the things that I talk about. So, one thing I wanted to talk about was teaching our kids not to be followers. They need to be leaders. If we have more leaders, I think some of the things would not be happening in our community. And let me tell you how I figured out not to be a follower. So I don't know if everybody else had a cousin like mine. She was my older cousin, but she always had these ideals, come up with these ideals that always ended up getting me in trouble. But I would follow her around. One day she had a big ideal to put Crisco on the floor so we could go skating. And it wasn't the liquid Crisco, it was the canned Crisco, the white Crisco. So we must have smeared it with our hands and then went skating. I can't remember everything that happened. I think I blocked out most of the stuff. But I do remember cleaning up Crisco, crying. I think I was in pain, but we still had to clean that Crisco. Another time, she thought it would be a good idea. You know how you get new furniture, your mom might put the couch on the side of the house till somebody can come get it. Well, she had the great idea, to set the couch on fire. Excuse me. Now, I didn't get beat for setting the couch on fire because I didn't set the couch on fire. She did. So she was the one caught with the matches. I got beat because I didn't come tell or stop her. Now, I don't know how they figured that I was going to be able to stop her. And telling, I don't think at that point we didn't tell on each other. I don't know. But yeah, I got beaten and should have, because that could have caught the house on fire. Now, after that, I kind of was leery of some of the stuff, trying to stay away from her. I think my mom didn't let her come over for a while. But that's her niece, and everybody liked to play at our house. So she did come back. I think we might have played like regular kids for a couple of days. And then she decided, now all the kids would play in our neighborhood, but there was a man that he was kind of mentally unstable. Well, I'm not going to say unstable. He was, slow. He had the mind of a child. So don't ask me why we were allowed to play with a grown man, but he just acted like us. He played just like us. Well, this time she had the bright idea to make him pull his pants down so we could see his thing. Now, I don't know if I know I was little. She's 4 years older than me, but I can't remember exactly her age. But, I don't know where she got that from. And at this point, I knew that we should not be doing this at all. So what she did was she took my hand and she made me touch it. And I remember this so clearly that, I jerked my hand back and I ran. And she caught up to me and she said, if you tell, I'm going to tell them that you made him, how they make you the villain. So I didn't tell. But I didn't. Something changed that day. Like, she wasn't the big cousin that I, looked up to. She just did things that I knew that were not right. Well, anyway, I don't know how my mom found out. She probably told her it was my idea. But yep, my mom beat me again, and she talked to me about, I said, but Mom, I didn't, but anyways, I think that was too close for her comfort. So he wasn't allowed to come back over. And it wasn't his fault either, because he didn't really know, she was manipulating him. I mean, he didn't really know what was going on. So he wasn't allowed to come back over. And then she wasn't. I think her mom put her in something like daycare or something like that. So yeah, I could give you a whole bunch more stories, teenage years or whatever, but I'm not. I just know that I've learned not to be a follower. If I'm going to get my behind beat, it's going to be because I did something, not somebody else. So that's one of the things that I stand on, is not to be a follower. The other one is bullies. I don't like bullies, and I find myself sometimes getting in trouble because I'm always trying to take up for people. But I want to tell you how I got there. So I went to a white school. Like I would be the only black child in my class. And I didn't think nothing of it. I mean, it didn't bother me. I had my friends or whatever. Well, the school decided to bus black kids into the school. And, this was new for the white kids. And, a bunch of, they were used to maybe one or two sprinkled around. But a bunch of, black kids, like, they were running to the corner, and I was over in the corner with them. So, as time, went on, I was making friends because, you want to play with somebody, that looks like you. So I made new friends, black friends. So one day, my friend decided she was going to put glue in the white girl's hair that was sitting in front of us. She didn't tell us what she was planning. She just was going to do it, and then we were going to laugh, I guess. So she put the glue, she put something in her hair with glue. And when the girl turned around, she seen her. She knew it was her because she seen her, bringing her hand back. But when she looked, or she however she looked, she was looking at me. And I was like thinking in my mind, I didn't do it. But she was looking at me, and I can't explain what the look was or how that feeling I had, but I felt terrible, and I couldn't get that feeling, to go away. So I thought about it all night at home. I was like, that was, it was just, I didn't know how to make that feeling go away, because she looked like somebody, I don't know, she was like she was in pain, and then she started crying, and so I was feeling horrible. But the next day, she came up to me, and she was like, she wanted to invite me over to her house after school. And I was like, wait a minute, are they going to jump me, or they trying to kidnap me and make me their maid? And then I said, no, y'all, this is the, y'all are doing the good times. When Michael brought Eddie home because he was stealing his lunch and his nickel that he had in his shoe, because I remember that episode. Maybe they're, trying to teach me a lesson. I didn't know. But I went. And we played. We had a good time. They had me over for dinner. We talked. It was such a good time. And nobody said anything. Nobody brought up anything. The parents didn't. And of course, they lived in a big, I would call it a mansion. I was a kid. So it was a big house. So when it was time for me to leave and go home, I just hugged her, and I told her that I was sorry. And I think she was, she was more relieved than I was. I don't know how she felt, because she didn't talk about it. But all she, did was hug me, and I said I was sorry. And, the feeling kind of went away. And I vowed never to bully anybody, never to stand around when people are being bullied, because that is a hurt. We don't know what the person who's being bullied is going through. But to have a group of people attack you or call you names, and this is constantly going on, but it wasn't with her, but I'm just talking, bullies, and it constantly goes on. It wears the person down, where they're not wanting to come to school, or their grades are going down because they're worried about, are they going to be bullied? So yes, I never, after that, bully, I wouldn't do that. So I also go out and feed people on the street. We really don't go to the shelters or anything, because they usually get food there. So we actually go on the street and feed people. And I do that because I've been hungry before. Not one time, not two, many times. I know what that feels like. So if I can help somebody not have that feeling, that's what I'm going to do. God has blessed me, to be able to do that. And I have some other people that go with me, and we just take whatever money we have. I don't want to start a nonprofit organization so they can be in my business, but just whatever we have, we would put it together, and you go buy food, or go buy water, or stuff that the women may need to for their daily whatever. And I really do that in the summertime. So I don't really do uploads that often anyway, but I probably won't be doing many, especially this summer. I'll try to get some in. So those three things were lessons that I had to learn, that I did learn. So if you if you make mistakes and you learn from them lessons or them mistakes, then you grew. Everybody makes mistakes, and those who make those mistakes over and over again, I don't know if they just don't want to stop doing what they're doing. I don't know. But if you learn from your mistakes, then you're growing. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I am very adamant about, is that teenagers should not date. And I'm going to tell you why. My first boyfriend, I was 16. I was 16, and he would beat me, and he would SA me, and I didn't do anything about it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anybody. And I don't know what I was feeling. I don't know why I continued to. Well, I do know. After a while, it was like I continued to date him because I was afraid if I left, he would do something to me, or everything was going through my mind. I was flunking class because my mind was just all over the place. I couldn't hang out with friends because I had to be next to him all after school all day. He dropped out of school, and he wanted me to drop out of school. But luckily, I had enough sense, and my mom wouldn't have went for it, to stay in school. And his reasoning that he wanted me to drop out of school is because if I stayed there, I was going to find somebody else. But if you care about somebody, you would want them to do better. So, but anyway, I went through that for a while. And then after a while, I couldn't even stand to look at him, because I would get hit or whatever for anything. And I'm like, but I'm not doing anything. And really, I was all mixed. I was mixed up. I knew it was wrong for him to be putting his hands on me, but I allowed it. So my mom finally found out, and she told him don't put your hands on my daughter. Now, I really was hoping that she would have told him to stay away from my daughter. This relationship is over. Because I knew deep down, even though she said, don't put your hands on my daughter, that he wasn't going to stop. So I was looking to her, If she would have said, you can't see my daughter anymore, I would have that excuse. And, I can't see you, and my mom is going to, call the police if, But she didn't, so I continued to see him maybe a little bit longer until I finally, got tired of him. And so I told my brother, and, my brother went to him and told him what I wanted my mom to say, which is, you're not her boyfriend anymore. This is over, and don't come around my sister anymore, because if you do, you're going to have to deal with me. So actually, I guess he didn't want to deal with him, so he really kind of left me alone. He still called or whatever, but he left me alone. They say men who beat women are usually sissies anyways. So he left me alone. But what I'm trying to tell you is that teenagers' minds are not equipped to deal with grown people's issues. It's a grown person's issue because teenagers shouldn't have to deal with that. But if you are dating and you're letting your child date, sometimes they don't tell you what's going on. And they suffer in silence. So, if you have a really good relationship with your child, that is good. You can talk to them. But children are supposed to be able to live carefree, join the pep squad, run track or whatever, not to be tied up next to a man that doesn't care about her and will beat her. That's not what a child should have to go through. Another thing I wanted to discuss, we have a mentoring program where we mentor girls and boys because there's not a lot of men around who are willing or who can mentor some of these boys. So we make it, easier to talk to women about certain things. And you might think boys are not gonna talk, they're not going to be comfortable talking to them. But I think when you need someone to talk to and you feel like that person is genuine and really cares, they will talk. So I'm so glad for that. But that is a good thing, to go out and mentor to children, because if you ask some of them things, you would be amazed. Just amazed at some of the stuff that they don't know, but are out here being doing adult activities. So what we looked into, there is a new epidemic going on with young girls. They're out here having sex with boys, men, or whatever, and they're catching diseases that they don't know that they have. They don't understand that the discharge that you have is not supposed to look like that. So they are keeping these, and excuse me if that made you feel gross, but that's just the facts. They're keeping these diseases for a long time, and normally they don't find out they have one until something else comes up. So they had a young girl, she had a disease. They estimate she might have had it for 9 months, and her appendix broke or busted. And that's how they found out, because all them, the infection got into her system, and that's how that happened. And then they had a girl that she carried that for so long, and now she's sterile. She cannot have any kids of her own. And so the decisions that they're making as a teenager may affect them for the rest of their lives. These decisions that they shouldn't have to make are affecting them for the rest of her life. She can't have kids. And, just to start off knowing that's going to be her life. She's not going to have kids. She probably, her life is probably taken a big change. And that's why I just say teenagers shouldn't date. There's a lot of other reasons why. Some people can handle trauma, some people can't. So even if they can, they still need help, because they don't, when they're processing that trauma or whatever, it might take a different turn, because after I was in that relationship and I was being beaten, that took me to a different, that's where I got to, I'm not going to let anybody else get close to me. I'm going to put up this wall. I don't want anybody to love me. I'm not going to love any, so that took that turn. So here I am now. A couple of years back, I had decided that I needed to heal, because I was not healed. So that's what I decided. I was going to be by myself and try to heal. And I'm doing good, but now it's been so long, that I don't even desire to go look for a man. So that's that. So when we're out, if you're a person who likes to help people and does certain things, that's great. I commend you, because there's not a lot of people who would do that. But if you're a person who does not do that and doesn't want to, that's fine too. Just stay out the way is my point. Don't hinder somebody else, or don't be that person to be in the club and talk about the woman with the mini skirt on, and she's always drunk, and she's always leaving the club with somebody, because you don't know her pain. You don't know what she's going through. You didn't know that her dad was molesting her from the time she could remember, and then he traded her off and let his friends do it. You don't know that her mother called her ugly and stupid every day of her life, and she didn't know how to take that pain away. So the only thing that helps her is the alcohol, or someone for that night, I guess, pretending like they love her or whatever. But who are you to judge her? Judge what she's doing, because you did not walk in her shoes. If you never had trauma, pain, devastation, never been hurt, you're the one of the lucky ones. But there's a lot of people who have, and we don't have the right, or you don't have the right, nobody has the right to judge them or make them think they're a low-class citizen. What they really do need is help, but they don't know how to get that. Some people don't want to get help because it has a stigma to it, especially men. They don't want to get help because it makes them look weak. I don't know. I think everything makes them look weak. I don't know why men have it so, hard to talk about their feelings or whatever. But they need help too, because they might go on to be something that they could have prevented had they understood or got help. I had a lot of other things I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to have to do that in another upload. But I just wanted to leave you with this. I like to go back and read about some of our ancestors and some of the black people who did something for our, for us, our country, us, because they didn't teach me African or black history in school. I never learned anything. I think the only thing I did know was Martin Luther King. I think that's the only thing that they did. My teacher every day, I came in, for the minute or two that we were going to talk about, something about blacks, she talked about us being slaves every day. So I said to myself, if I go in here and this woman says slave one more time, I'm going to lose it. So, so she started talking, and she went, slaves again. So I raised my hand and I asked her, didn't black people do more than just be slaves? Because what did they do? I'm sitting here in this chair. I wasn't a slave yesterday. So what did they do before, what? And she got mad at me and sent me to the office. I don't know if that's because she didn't have an explanation, or I don't know. All I wanted to know is, what else did they do besides be slaves? So things that I don't feel like I get answers to, I always go and look up, because I want to find out. I want to know. I used to try to learn a new word every day, and I need to get back to that. But yeah, I look up stuff because I want to know. But yeah, I like to read about, our ancestors, and I always come back to Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was like 5'2" or 5'1", so she was really short, a little tiny thing. And she decided she wanted to be free. She wanted to go up north so she could be free. So she ran off by herself, no map, no, hardly any food, with animals running around. She did that by herself as a young woman. And I just think how much courage that she had to do that. And she made it to freedom. But once she made it to freedom, her soul couldn't rest. She should have been, so excited to be free and just carefree and just enjoying her new life. But she couldn't, because her family was back on the plantation, and there was other slaves still there being tormented. So she went back on several trips to get her family, to get other people who wanted to be free. There were women, babies, little kids that she showed the way to freedom, and she never lost one. She never lost one. And her determination, she had to, like I said, she was 5'2". I know some of those men would probably looked at her like, you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're doing. So she probably had some, but they said she was tough, and she did carry a gun. But I guess the way she talked to them, she didn't have to use it. I love that story because it makes me feel proud to be a black woman. It also makes me want to, help or, do something just like her, because she was selfless. She was risking her safety, her life, and her freedom to help other people. her black people, her family, to have the same thing that she was having. And she did that until she brought like between 75 100 people to freedom. And I think that makes you want to do something, because it makes you feel so proud. I guess that's me. So in this day and age, since we really do have people, because we're all still on the plantation, we just have more room to walk around. If you can make it, if you made it, you feel you've made it, go back and get your friends, go back and get your family, go back and get the person that you didn't know, but they were wondering how could they get better or become better or be able to feed their kids and their family. Don't turn your back on those people. That's all I ask. You feel better when you help someone. I feel better. That's my favorite thing to do, is summertime, when we go out into the community. Like I said, everybody's not going to want to do that, and that's fine, but just stay out the way. I have met some good people on here, some good people, and I'm going to, cherish those friendships, or the talks that we had. I know I keep saying but I had to put that first part out there because my character, I felt, was being questioned. I we don't know one another, and so all you have really is what people perceive of you, and that is the furthest thing from me. And I just hope that I got that cleared up, and that I don't have to talk about it again. But it's cool. So I guess that's all I had to say. I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you later.